Hello there. Today is going to be another video on tool maintenance. So today I'm going to be working on the Dewalt DW735 13-inch planer, and I will show you what the problem is and how to fix it, and hopefully it will be helpful. So here's the planer. First thing I'm going to do is take off these 4 screws here so I can get inside of it. Piece we'll be replacing is this housing. I'll show you what the problem is. I'll talk about how it happened, and I'm not sure how to prevent it, but anyway, hopefully that will be helpful. Okay, so here's the problem that the housing is causing, the broken housing. You see all these chips in here? Well, what happens is the blower, it's right here, doesn't capture all the chips, which then end up filling up the inside of the planer, and then as you go to try and adjust the mechanism to raise and lower it, it gets all clogged up. So what I'm going to do first is vacuum everything out and get it cleaned up, and then I'll take the blade guard off and then the housing cover, and then I'm going to try and just swap one side so I have to take less screws out. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I've got it mostly cleaned out. To get this fan housing off, there's 3 red nuts here that you remove. So I'm going to take those off, and then I'll show you what it looks like inside, and then we got to get these screws out. All right, so I got the fan or the housing cover, or the blade cover off. And now I'm going to get in there with the wrench, or the nut driver here, and take these off. It looks like there's a clip here, and there may be a clip back there too that I need to remove. But that's the next step. Okay, so I got the old one out, which is this one, and I got the new one here. You'll notice this one has this ring around it with a little cam that the chip funnel there will go into. This one is very conspicuously missing. So what happened was about a couple of years ago, I was using this, and I went and was planing over a knot, and the knot broke out and came up through the chip breaker, or the chip exhaust fan here, and you can see it's even broken too. But it busted out this fan housing, and a bunch of plastic had come out the back. And obviously I knew that wasn't supposed to happen, but it continued to function. I didn't realize that it was, causing all the chips to pile up inside of it, which has become a real pain in the butt, because what I showed you that I had to clean out, that was only about 4 passes through the planer. And so I'm having to continually stop and vacuum it out so that I'm not having problems with the mechanism. So while I have everything out as much as I can, if you look back in there, there's still some chips back there, so I'm going to get it as clean as I possibly can before I put it back together. But also, another thing to note, there's a few extra, like this little button here. I need to move this over to the new one. So it's making things fit here. Okay, change of plans. The new piece and the old piece don't quite made up together. So these are the 2 new pieces together. It looks like this little flange on here is slightly different on the old one, so I can't get a good seal between the old and new parts. So I'm going to have to take the impeller off and the rest of the fan housing off. Hopefully it won't be too bad. But anyway, it'll be the full swap now. So there's 3 little screws that hold that second housing in. Just one real quick tip: make sure this clip is above this hole, this plastic piece here. Otherwise you will end up having to take it back out, because it will get trapped under here and there's not enough room for it to flip up. Almost done. I'll put the last screw in, put the impeller back on, and then put it all back together. All right, everything's put back together. I got the chip funnel diverter back on there. It's now attached in its proper place. All that's left is to put the top back on, the cover back on, and it'll be ready to use. So once again, if you have tool issues, eReplacementParts.com. There's schematics and diagrams. There's troubleshooting questions that point to most likely parts. And you can order those parts and then designate. You can have next day shipping or whatever. You know, it's not a commercial for them, but it's been a really helpful service for me getting these tools back to work. And this isn't a cheap planer that you know, you would just go out and replace. So spending $50 on a new fan housing should get this back into order, so I don't have to open this up and vacuum it out all the time. But anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next time.